It's week 3 of the Tribune Scouting Report. I'm Jennifer Fierro here at Mustang Stadium, home of the Marble Falls Mustangs. Now it's week 3, and that means it's time to talk Burnet Marble Falls. But before we get to that, we have to get you caught up on what happened in Marble Falls' thrilling 42-38 win over Medina Valley. Of course, we're going to get all of that analysis from head coach Cord Woerner, and then we're going to welcome in the voice of the Bulldogs, Roger Moore, as well as Mustang historian Billy Becker. The two of them are going to debate the long-standing Barnett Marble Falls rivalry. All that and more on the Tribune Scouting Report coming right up.
Spring and summer in Texas call for outdoor grilling with friends and family. At Bill Smith Butane, we take care of your fuel needs. Refill your propane bottles at one of our convenient locations and save big money on regular exchange prices. Bill Smith Butane.
We're back. We want to thank you for joining us wherever and however you're able to. With me now, the head coach of the Mustangs, Cord Woerner, who has guided the team to another 2-0 start. And yet, Coach, this one, a little bit more of a struggle in the second half than you thought. You did get the win 42-38, coming down to an offensive play there with about 13 seconds left, a 61-yard touchdown toss from your son, Zed Warner, to Clint Powell. And then, of course, your special teams covered the kickoff. And then, of course, that was the last play of the game to escape the 42-38 win over Medina Valley. My one question, how do you think Friday night, what do you think your guys learned from Friday night's game that they can apply to the rest of the season?
Wow. One question out of all of that, that's pretty good. I think the biggest thing is that, number one, you've got to be prepared to play an entire ball game. You know, we talked last week about getting started earlier, and we were able to get off the bus and do that on a long trip, and that was real positive. We've been very healthy all year long, and then just this week, the day we were getting on the bus, we had several kids we left home sick and throwing up, and we had several injuries occur in the first quarter. So we were plugging a lot of guys into some spots where they haven't normally been playing. So quite honestly, the things that we learned is two things. One, you got to play the whole ball game, period. And then number two, we've got to continue to place a premium on knowing your position on both sides of the ball well enough to where you can function at a high level.
This, of course, is week 3, time for the annual Burnet Marble Falls grudge match. Obviously, this is one of those games where records really don't mean a whole lot, where sometimes the better team on paper sometimes doesn't win. What makes this rivalry so special for people who are new to the area? How would you describe it?
Oh, heck. I don't even really know where to start. I've been seeing it since I was a baby. I've got to be in it. I've got to play in it. I've got to coach in it. And I think the biggest part for me is, we know a lot of these folks. We've got, a lot of respect for them and what they do, and we hope that that's mutual. But when it comes right down to it, this is one of the most important ball games, I think we play every year before we start district and try to get into the postseason schedule. So it's just exciting. The part about it being a long-standing, and I don't even know how long y'all would, and I know Billy would, but there's been some big ball games played between Marble Falls and Burnet in district and post-district, and we just started playing them back again a few years ago, so we're really kind of just getting this thing rolling again good.
You've had a chance to scout Barnett and seen them a little bit. What are your impressions of this year's Bulldog team?
Well, Barnett's always dangerous. They're going to put a lot of pressure on you defensively. Come from a lot of different places. They're going to line up and, penetrate well. Their team quickness is probably one of their strengths, in my opinion. They do some things offensively that they don't necessarily try to blow you off the ball, but they body up on you well, and they create seams and creases in their backs, and receivers do a good job of taking advantage of that.
You know, we had a chance to talk to Coach Walker at the end of last season, and he really believed, thinking specifically about Marble Falls, that the defense was going to be the key for the Bulldogs in order for them to have some success against us last year. After talking to him a little bit this year, there really hasn't been anything to change his mind. Do you think that the Bulldog defense is as dangerous this year as it has been?
Oh, I think they can be at any time, just based on what they do. You know, any time that a team is very aggressive and come from a lot of different areas, they can mess your blocking schemes up. They can throw a monkey wrench in it. So, you know, yes, it's going to be a big part of the game, and we're going to have to be smart enough to make those adjustments.
Okay. Coach, did not want to leave you without getting some thoughts about what they do offensively. We all know about Weston Cosby. I know you've watched them play a lot of 7-on-7. You're very familiar with their skill position players and Zach Maldonado and Damon Belmarez and some of those other guys who just some outstanding athletes over there. What are your thoughts about the Bulldogs offense?
Well, you know, they do a good job. They're pretty consistent. They're not going to panic. They're able to run the ball well. They've been able to run the ball well last week, and they chunk it when they decide to chunk it pretty well also. So, I mean, they're pretty balanced. They're going to do their thing. They're not going to get outside of themselves to make something happen. I don't think they're going to panic. So, you know, we're just going to have to be real solid against them.
Okay. Coach, anything in particular you'll be looking for from your guys regarding this week? I know you've only seen them for one practice. How is their mindset going into this Burnet week in preparation?
Oh, you know, we're ready to win another ball game. You know, the fact that it's Burnet, it's great. But we're ready to win another ball game. What we got to do is we've got to make sure that we stay within ourselves in what we do. And it's great to be excited, and we will be fired up to be on the field. At the same time, we've got to remain focused enough to do our jobs when we get on the field. And it's a balance, you know, that and, you know, we've got some healing up to do this week to be where we want to be, but I think they can get it done. Okay,
Coach. Well, we look forward to hearing from you at the end of the game. Look forward to catching up again next week. And we'll be right back.
We are established. We are qualified. We are certified. We are knowledgeable. We are dependable. We are Ken's Heating and Air. Our people make the difference.
We're back. We want to welcome now to the set the voice of the Burnet Bulldogs, Roger Moore, and of course Mustang historian Billy Becker. But we're going to start with you, Roger, and that's because you guys are the hosting school this year. I want you to put into words this rivalry between Burnet and Marble Falls. What does it mean to you?
Oh, it means everything to Burnet and to me too. It goes all the way back. I'm sure it goes way back, even farther than I can ever remember, and actually it goes back a long time. But I kind of got involved in '92, '93 in that range, and I wasn't here for the '91 game, but I wished I had been. I should have dropped whatever I was doing, come and saw that game, but I heard it was quite a game, or actually two games, I guess, wasn't it?
Yeah, two separate games nearly.
Yeah, sure enough. Yeah, and I wished I'd have been there. Incredible rivalry. It's what high school football really gave high school football its name, I think, the Barnett Marble Falls rivalry.
And same question to you, Billy. I know that you have a little different experience because you're a Marble Falls man, grew up playing Burnet. I'm very familiar with the rivalry, have been following it closely for several decades now.
Yeah, this game goes back, there was a record of it in 1898, although there was no score, and officially the first game was 1913. But we've been at it a long, long time, and it was great fun when we played. We split with you a 6-0 and a 7-6 loss. But these last few years have been a burden. I mean, Barnett has 11-game edge in this, and it's sort of like that 91 game. When you made that fourth down play, that pass to the tight end on it, that got you the next downs, and that got you the game eventually. Marble Falls has not been able to come up with the critical play. I mean, they won in 2008, and they've won some games here and there, but overall, Marble Falls needs to take the action in hand and make the critical plays for a change. That's where it stands right now.
Okay, so Billy, being the Mustang fan that you are, I know you still follow the team closely and all that. Last year, Marble Falls thought it had a team that could really come out and not only win, but win convincingly, and that didn't happen. How does Marble Falls get over that hump? How much of it is physical versus how much of it is mental?
Well, it's physical if you don't run up the middle. I think that's where their edge was, and they really didn't do it, and it would have set up their running game. And later in last year, they started doing that, and that's how they got in the playoffs. And I think that's one of the critical elements. If they can run on Barnett, they can win this game. They've got to outcoach Barnett. They've got to be smarter. To win this game, you've got to do everything right. Even if one team is above the other in talent or in wins and losses, it still doesn't matter. You've got to play this game. You've got to beat the other guy hard. That's all it takes.
And Roger, for you, I know that there were a lot of people last year who didn't think that Burnet had a chance. And of course, the Bulldogs come into Marble Falls, win in that brand new stadium, only give up 7 points for 4 quarters. What kind of momentum or how much confidence did a win like that do for y'all?
Well, it ought to do wonders. That was an incredible victory, and our kids were sky high after that. Went on, 6 more game winning streak, and just an incredible lift for the whole season. And it ought to carry over to this year. I hope it does. I don't know that it will, but I hope it does.
Do you think, because I'm somebody who believes that there's more pressure to win at home than there is on the road. I know, and not only is this a big home game, this is also homecoming for the Bulldogs. How does Coach Walker and his staff keep his kids focused on the task at hand?
I don't know how that's going to happen. Being an old coach, I can tell you homecoming week can be a very difficult week. And it goes back to even last year. I think it was homecoming at Marble Falls, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
So that very well could have had a little, play on Marble Falls. And how well they, recuperated from being homecoming week maybe is a good way of looking at it. I don't know. It's going to be huge. It's going to be a tough thing to do. I think Coach Walker will do a great job at that, and his staff. I think they're going to do just a marvelous job keeping the guys focused. I don't think there's any doubt that the boys, they're going to come out, with fire in their eyes, certainly, and being at home. Yeah, it's tough to win at home, no doubt. That's a tough deal because there's a lot of pressure on you. But
you just heard Billy say that Marble Falls' key is its ability to run the football. Do you agree with that?
Oh, totally. I don't think there's any doubt. Barnett's got to know that's coming, and I think I feel like that's what Marble Falls will attack, and I think Barnett's got to know that and come out and be ready for it.
Okay. Why does Barnett have an edge in this game, Billy? What do you think?
Well, they're at Barnett up here. Now, they have homecoming, and I'll take all the distractions we can get as far as that goes. But they've had a winning edge in this series, and that's a state of mind. That's something Marble Falls has to change for the long term. You're 11 games behind. You've got to win this a lot over time as far as that goes. What Marble Falls has going, they won on the last play, and that's something that takes, it takes the lineman to block, the other receivers to do clear out patterns, the quarterback to get the ball there, the guy to catch it. You've got to do a lot of things right. And for a young team, that was an excellent thing to have happen. And that is encouraging because I've always been of the opinion that there's really luck is a function of power. And you can only get lucky so much, but if you've got a good, powerful football team, you can do amazing things. So I would like to see them win this game and win this game strong.
Now, you know that Marble has had an edge over Barnett and Llano and Lampasas in 7-on-7, and yet that 7-on-7 success hasn't moved over to 11-man football. Why is that?
Right, defense. I mean, when people are out there busting your rear end around, it's a whole different ball game than 7-on-7. I mean, when you throw in defense, it's a different ball game altogether. And you've got to have that balance between running and passing. So even though they've had great passers and great receivers and all this, that's not football as we know it out here on this field.
Prediction?
I'd like to say about 35-21 Marble Falls.
Okay. Prediction, Roger?
Woo, 35-21 sounds like a good score, but burn it.
Barnett. Okay. Well, as always, we appreciate the insight, Roger. Look forward to talking to you next week and getting your thoughts. And, you know, if we can get Billy to come back and share the field with you, we may invite him back to do this segment with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. That'd be fun.
All right. Billy, we appreciate it.
You're certainly welcome.
And we'll be right back. On Friday night, when the Mustangs travel to face the Bulldogs on their home field, they're going to notice a lot of things. Among them, besides the homecoming activities, is always the deep rivalry between the two schools. To say that this game is just like any other to Marble Falls would be a lie. Therefore, Marble Falls' best chance to win the game, in my opinion, is to have at least a 2-touchdown lead, preferably closer to 17 points at the half. If Marble Falls can do that, look for the Mustangs to close it out in the second half. But if the Bulldogs keep it close, Burnet will find a way to win a close game. No matter what happens, you can count on us to be there to give you all the highlights of everything that happens between Barnett and Marble Falls. Until week 4, I'm Jennifer Fierro. This is the Tribune Scouting Report, and we'll see you then.